Good morning. I call the channel The Jungle Look, and it's been a while since my last video. I'm having my morning coffee right now before work. I got about an hour where I can do some stuff in the house, so I figured I'd grab the camera because usually right now, while I'm having my morning coffee, I'm going around watering my house plants and maybe topping off some tanks. But everything's well hydrated, all the tanks are topped off, and I'm doing some work in here right now. This is one of 3 fish rooms that I have, and this room is my father fish inspired room. Now, if this is your first time joining me in here, I'll just take the camera around and get you acquainted with what's going on in here and what I'll be working on. The reason why I refer to this as my father fish inspired room is this is where I have my dirted tanks, and I go and collect materials from ponds and lakes and things like that and stock my tanks up that way. It's how I start my food webs. Most of the tanks in here, actually all the tanks, I would consider pretty low tech. Some of them don't have filters, some don't have heaters. They all have like deep substrates and house plants and stuff for the filtration. I'll show you these tanks in the order that I set them up on this rack. This was the first one right here. And then moving right along, I do believe this was the next tank that I set up. Like I said, most of the tanks are low tech. This one doesn't have a filter or a heater. And the one I just showed you, that only has a heater. Bunch of Danios in there. Over here, this tank, it might just have scuds in there and snails, might be a few shrimp. It's really nothing in there at the moment. There's no heater, there's no filter, nothing in here. And now I got a bunch of glare. A lot of roots and stuff from the house plants. And then after that, I set this tank up. We'll be doing some work in here this morning, I hope. This is the Hardwood Lake Aquascape. I have some buckets out on the porch with the food web sitting in there. We're going to be doing a reset on the food web in here, a restart. I also got some more, what is this, dragonstone, a big piece of that I want to put in here too. Probably just going to be removing this stuff right here. We'll clean the glass, and then we'll do the reset, the restart. I'll show you how I do that. Get all kinds of crazy life in here. Over here today too, we're just going to be touching up the aquascape. This tank's only, I think, 4 or 5 days old right now, and the water's nice and clear in there, so I'm going to put some leaf litter and other botanicals in there. Just, you know, put some more interest into the aquascape. Something just took off right there. I'll try to find a few clips. I got a couple little clips already of some stuff in here. This is a brand new tank. And then, oh, this one too. This just needs to get cleaned out. I have 2 assassin snails in here I want to take out of here. This tank is really nothing. This was the oh, right there. I don't know if you can see them, but there's the snails. I think that's the, yeah. I want to pull them out. But this was the floating bog tank. I'm going to redo this. I don't have a heater for it. I do have a heater here that I'll be pulling out of another tank. And I have a heater in here that I pulled out of another tank already. There's air stones in both of these tanks. I'm going to be doing a fish room update where I'll really talk a lot more about what these tanks are and how they function. This is where I want to add the 2 assassin snails. Both of these tanks have dirted substrate and topsoil. But this is where I want to add the assassin snails into this tank, as well as I want this to be a dark water tank. I'm going to add a bunch of tannins into this tank today too. Down here, this is a work tank. This is a grow out tank. I just put my extra plants and stuff in here. Got Java moss down there. Oh, I forget what all this stuff is. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different types of plants in here right now. There's some fish and stuff in here too. And then over here we're gonna be, these are my shrimp tanks up here. This is actually I was calling this my beta and shrimp rack. This was the very first rack right here that I built in here. I'm gonna go turn some more lights on. But yeah, so I am monetized right now, and I'm trying to just use the money that I'm getting from YouTube to try and use that to fund the rooms, or the Jungle Nook, the channel. So also I wanna be trading things. I used to trade shrimp. And I wanna get these tanks going. So in this tank right here, I have a adjustable heater. I'll be wanting to move that eventually too. I think I'm gonna pull these fish out so that this can just be a shrimp tank down here. I'll pull these fish out because they need to be a little bit warmer and move them into another tank. I want to catch the snails out of these 2 tanks. I got snail traps. All the snail traps is these little trays, or these little containers that you get your betta fish in from. I cut a slit in it, and what I'll do, I got a rock in there to hold it down. Just gonna put a algae wafer in. Yeah, there's just so many snails in here. They're competing for food with the shrimp. I did have shrimp tanks in the past where I really overfed them a lot, and I had a lot of variation in the water, and I had huge explosions of shrimp. So I'm going to start really feeding these tanks really well, and I got to get rid of some of these snails though. They're competing for the food. That's all that I do. Let's try to set it in there somewhere. Snails will find their way in. I might have to come back on my lunch break to get these out. An hour might not be long enough. So the newest tank in this room is this one down here, and I want to do some aquascaping down here real quick. Just gonna put some leaves in there. So I learned last winter that I really need to keep these tanks warm, and there has to be some water flow. Otherwise, when the temperature really drops, it crashes. There's some, I don't know if they'll show up, but here, I'll make them swim. Tadpoles. So I just put some leaves in there. Now this right here is just a big clump of leaves that I had chopped up a little. I'm just gonna stick them down here. This is food. This is food for little organisms and stuff in here. Just some, these are just stems off of leaves. Not too particular. But once all this stuff gets in there, it adds a lot of interest. And it's food. Another big clump. So I also have some of these elder cones or something they're called. Kind of a cone. These add a lot of tannins to the water, which is good for the fish. It darkens up the water. There. So that's all I did. I got a light that I bought. This came from the money I got from the ads from being monetized, as well as a bag of fluval stratum. That's what the substrate is in that tank right there. I'm just gonna put the lid on it right now. That tank's pretty much done. This tank right here is pretty much done. It's just gonna sit for I've done this before. It might take like a month before we really see a lot of stuff in this tank. Here, I gotta put the camera down. So actually, these lights need to get switched. This is the new light right here. So this actually, over the winter, because I'll lose a lot of leaves and stuff out here, over the winter, this gets a little bit of sunlight on this tank too, so that will be nice. So now what? Oh, I guess we're already working on that. Oh, I wanted to show you this too. Yeah, so these cones that I put in there, here. Those cones that I put in there, they release a lot of tannins. I have them already soaking in water so that they sink. Here, I'll show you. This is supposed to be a dark water tank right here. Well, I dumped the water out of the container with the elder cones, I think they're called. But I didn't have the camera on. But the water, it did darken up a little bit. Right now I'm catching out the two assassin snails. Now this assassin snail right here is already, he's eating a mystery snail. I don't know if it's showing up, but he's got one. He's eating it. So the darker one, that's the mystery snail, the one with the more predominant stripes there. It's the assassin snail. And that's not a tank that I am breeding shrimp in, because they'll eat shrimp too, I do believe. But I'm going to put him in there to keep the snail population down. I have 2 of them in there. I think I'll put this one in the grow out tank. The tank with the plants. It's another dirted tank. See, there really are fish in here. Look how the color is on these guys too. These are cherry barbs. Like, they got really nice color. They're healthy, happy fish. Males and females. Gotta have the females in there so the males really color up. But yeah. I'll throw some food in this tank too. My little piranhas. Okay. So I need to get working down here. This is what's going to take me the most amount of time. I'll show you where I'm going to go get that other large piece of dragonstone from. It's out here in the room that I call the Nook. It's in my 75-gallon work tank. I just want to get the dragonstone out of here. That's it. I don't know if you can go to see it. It's pretty dark in there. There's a piece of dragonstone back there. I want to get that out and put it in there. Pretty soon I'm going to be cleaning this whole tank out. This whole thing's going to be getting redone. I got a really cool piece of driftwood that I'm going to be putting in here. Okay. I'm going to drain some of this water out. And I want to remove some of this stuff. I'm gonna go grab that dragonstone. Well, first, move some of this stuff around. Gotta make some room. There we go. I really don't want to get rid of that. Well, there is still some life in here. This tank crashed on me over winter because I believe it was the temperature, and then also the air stone got clogged. It's right. I got to put a new air stone on this. So there was no extra aeration or water flow. It was basically stagnant. You need a suction cup for that too. I think I might want it right on the other side. I'm going to remove these. Bring this over here. And then over here. So the stuff in this bucket came from Hardwood Lake. You see all the leeches. I don't know if you can or not, but there's a bunch of leeches and scuds all around the surface there. There's all kinds of stuff in here. There's a lot of decomposing plant material down at the bottom as well. There's all kinds of life in this. I'm going to add this right to the tank now. This is how I am resetting the food web in there. I'm adding all this into it. Well, I'm back after work. Tank's really cleaned up a lot. I'm surprised a lot of times it takes a lot longer than this. But as you can see, we're not seeing all that life right now. It's all going to disappear and hide for, Usually about a month is what it usually happens for me. And then it all starts coming back out. This silt that's down at the bottom of the tank, they'll be consuming that, and it will break down and it will disappear. All this plant material, that will all break down, and it'll get new growth on it. It'll be nice and green. Right now I got a few plants that are in pretty good shape that I'm gonna put in here that are native to Hardwood Lake. I've seen a few things swimming around, but not much. Nothing like those other clips. Just gonna stick these plants in here now, put the lid on it, turn the air stones on, and I'm just gonna let it sit for, you know, as long as it takes for all that life to come out. I'll be doing updates, and I'll definitely be doing a fish room tour and doing one specifically on all of my natural themed tanks. These right here are lily pads. Just a whole variety of stuff. This is the stuff I know that they eat. Well, everything in here actually is from Hardwood Lake, so it's all their native food. So that's pretty much it, guys. Hit that like button for me, please. I'd appreciate it. And comments are good too, but the like button, that's real important, so YouTube sends this video out to more people. The more people that watch it, the more it generates, you know, revenue wise, and the more I can do here at the Nook.